Good afternoon, good afternoon. Hello, and how are you doing? My name is Pioneer, and this is I Am Sure Sports. And today we are doing another in our series around the NBA. I've got a few friends with me today. I've got the man Chris Lynch, who is out in the parks out there in Arkansas,
Yeah, man.
having some great weather today. Last time I spoke to Chris, he was on about 6 inches of snow. Good to see that you are out and about in great weather today, my brethren. We also have with us today the man CC from CC Sports Lab. CC, welcome forward. And also joining us for the second time is the man Preacher. Preacher, I want to say welcome forward, my brethren. Good to have you again. And today we'll be taking a look at some happenings around the association. Some interesting happenings around the association in the last couple of days, last say 5-6 days since we have been here. Notably, I want to start with the struggles of the Lakers. Some persons might think we speak a little too much about the Los Angeles Lakers, but it is what it is. The NBA is a star-driven league, and the biggest star in the league right now is LeBron James. This Lakers team was put together at the beginning of the not put together at the beginning of the season, but at the beginning of the season with the acquisition of Russell Westbrook, there were talks of championship, as of them having championship aspirations, and a lot was expected from this team. They are obviously struggling badly with Anthony Davis being out with injury. So it goes without saying, people, we have to discuss the Lakers. So today, a brief moment, we'll speak about what is happening with the Los Angeles Lakers. What do we think are the cause of their struggles, and how do we think they can rectify it for this season and going forward? I'm going to start with you, CC. I know you have some interesting views with regard to the Los Angeles Lakers. Give me your views.
Yeah, with regards to the Los Angeles Lakers, as I said before, what they might have to. I don't think in the beginning when the roster was assembled, because the potential you had a superstar that is still playing at a high level in LeBron James, future Hall of Famer, Russell Westbrook, who is double Mr. Triple Double for what he can do, future Hall of Famer. AD, as talented as he is, so that would be a big tree constructed. Then you have
Mhm.
an elite scorer in Carmelo Anthony. But I think it was unrealistic views in terms of our expectation, because you are the LeBron James who have been to 10 finals. So naturally, because LeBron James has been to 10 finals, um, persons would have been of the view that he could have led this franchise to another final, failing to understand that the parts around him is normally like persons who can shoot. A Westbrook can't really shoot. Carmelo Anthony is not really in his prime, so you really can't get much out of him in terms of minutes wise. Um, then you have AD, who you would have thought he could have gotten 60 games out of for the season. Is Mr. Plastic Man. So I think all in all, what the Lakers franchise probably should do is that you have traded Shaq. Mike Magic Johnson went down already because of illness and stuff, and you were able to bounce back. You traded Shaq. Kobe came back and led the franchise to three finals. Um, one third of the three. So if you really look at it like this, if you're assessing it, assess Kobe's last 4 years with the Lakers versus LeBron's 4 years with the Lakers. When Kobe was at his like tail end of his career, he won two titles, carried you to three finals, and none of those seasons was a shortened season. Yet still there was not an expectation of
So
Kobe
you
winning.
just said Kobe's last 4 seasons with the Lakers.
Not last four seasons, man. I'm saying the 4 seasons that in the period that he won the title. It wasn't
Okay, I
his
mean, and
last season.
that is post Shaq.
Yeah, basic post shock.
Post
Base
Shaq. All
when his
right, no
knee
problem.
gave, when his body was given, like after that point, he was at the tail end of his career.
All
where he
right.
was demanding start, just like how LeBron is demanding that he wants certain parts around him. Kobe wanted certain parts around him. He probably only got Paul Gasol, right? And he ended up winning 2 championships right there. After a while, he tailed out and stuff. But what I'm saying is, they have to really consider: can you trade LeBron, trade AD, or trade Westbrook? You have to think about trading 2 of these stars,
Mm-hmm.
all 3 stars or so, to see if you can get enough back for the next 6 or so years for Lakers to contend, be in contention. And it's something that is not like Lakers have been contending every year, round the clock, except for the 80s, where between the period of 81 and 91, where they went to 9 finals basically, because I think Magic Johnson, they went to 9 finals, winning 5 and losing 4. I don't see Lakers being able to dominate the league like that anymore, because they had Magic Johnson, they had Cap, they had James Worthy, they had so many great stars. So I don't see that possibility in the modern NBA. So I think what they should do is consider trading 2 of these stars and rebuilding the roster for the future.
All right. So you're saying that your solution to the Lakers is who's that they're having right now would be to be trade two of two of either LeBron
Two of
James,
either LeBron, AD, or if
AD,
you think
Russell
LeBron
Westbrook.
can stay, the trade
That's an
AD and
interesting
Westbrook.
take. It's an interesting take. It's the first time I'm hearing anybody with that suggestion. I've heard talks of trading AD. Obviously, before the trade window, there was talks of trading Westbrook. And I've heard snippers and people whispering that maybe they should be trading LeBron. But I've never heard anybody who has suggested trading two of the three. Um, Preacher, may I ask you, what's your view on that? Give me your view of the Lakers' current position, and give me your view of what CC just suggested. And if your view is similar, if your view is different, give me your view of a fix for the Lakers going forward for the rest of the season and beyond.
Yeah, well, interesting take as you say, Pioneer, CC's take. Um, let's start with what CC posited as a potential trading of two of three, or the big three. The unfortunate situation for the Lakers right now is that Russell Westbrook, nobody wants Russell Westbrook. Nobody's gonna take Russell Westbrook in a trade. And then AD, because of his injuries and his susceptibility to having injuries, his trade value, in my opinion, has gone down significantly. LeBron perhaps has the highest trade value, but LeBron is in his 19th season. And so anybody who gets LeBron now is getting him because they're looking to win in another year or two. So they would have already had the pieces necessary to put them in a position to win, and they would just be needing LeBron to get them over the edge. I can't think of any of those teams that would be in a position where cap space is concerned with resources to get a LeBron James. So I don't think that trading of two of the three is going to work for practical reasons. Okay. However, in terms of what the Lakers can do for the remainder of the season, they just added 2 pieces to the team to try and bolster the team for a last push for the play-ins or the playoffs. They're hoping that AD will come back and that AD will be healthy enough to play enough games going into the play-ins or the playoffs. I think at best they could try and just make it into the play-ins, make it into the playoffs, and then anything is possible from there. It's a brand new season after that. But the truth is, as bad as the Lakers are as a team, when you go into the playoffs, when everything becomes smaller, the margin for error for other teams are going to be smaller too. All you need is for your superstar to get hot. All you need is for the team to find some kind of energy and chemistry. The Lakers can be dangerous. I don't see them going very far, but once you're in the playoffs, anything is possible. So for the remainder of the season, that's all they have to focus on. Push to try and get in the play-ins, and then push to try and get in the playoffs, and then take it from there.
All right, Christian, you're going to move to you. I recognize some people in the chat. Big up Gunners Boss, Pine Action. You hear my brethren, always good to have you. One big up Kemar Hasfal. All right, one also acknowledge Countryman, Horace Countryman Holmes. Big up yourself, Countryman. Good that you could join us in the chat. All right, give thanks for your comments, my brethren. We also have the man Kems joining us on the stream, people. It's always good to have Kems with us. But before we get to your Kems, let me ask you, Chris Lynch, I think you have exposed your views a lot on the Lakers, but for the sake of this conversation, Chris Lynch, and for what how would you respond to what CC just suggested? Tell me how you see that and what you think the Lakers could do. So something going forward.
CC take is a very creative and innovative take. Like I said, Pioneer, I haven't heard anyone with it. Trade away all the big three, basically. But Pioneer, the Lakers must go back to what worked for them. Russell Westbrook wasn't going to fit. The world knew that. The ants, everything in the world knew that Russell Westbrook wasn't going to fit. He's not a fit like CC said, doesn't shoot at a good percentage. So I don't know when it was going to work, but I don't think you can trade away all the pieces, basically. What I would say is keep LeBron and Westbrook, keep LeBron and Anthony Davis. They have proven that they can win a championship with both of them being the best player for the Lakers. They have proven that. There's no question about that. Once you have proven something, then nobody can question your ability to do it. And Anthony Davis, the only nick against him is that he's very soft. He's very soft, and that's going to be, I don't know which team will want him now, because all the teams are basically getting better. Only a few quite bad teams out there, basically. But at the Chicago Bulls look bad, the only team is the Boston Celtics, and even them are picking up steam. So everyone who think probably you could say Anthony Davis could get traded there and Lakers get back a good piece for Anthony Davis. Really and truly, who you're going to get for Anthony Davis that's going to fix the problem? Everybody is playing good. No one is going to give up their good piece to take someone who get injured by just their eyelash. If a little breeze blow on his eyelash, he's out for 5 weeks or 7 weeks.
Paperman, they call him, or street clothes and bridge.
So it's a good tape, but I don't see it realistically happen. The Lakers obviously going to wait until they won't go preacher. You don't have to say they are dangerous. They won't do nothing in the playoffs. A team that don't every night, Pioneer, this is what teams do every night to the Lakers. And I watched it last night. I was going to go to my bed, but I just see out one more half of the game because of one purpose. If you watch the Lakers going forward, people, look at what teams do to the Lakers. They don't take bad shots against the Lakers, because by rotating the ball around the court, you're going to get a good shot on every position. There's a good shot for you on every position because players don't close out. They don't play defense. Everybody can get a good shot on every position. So if a team is going to get a good shot on every position, then where are you going with the playoffs with that? That's not going in. That's not going nowhere in the playoffs. So I am willing to step out there now and say, I rate LeBron James highly, but this is not about LeBron James. This is about a team. This is not about LeBron James. This is about a team that cannot play defense, and that's not going to go nowhere in the playoffs.
There's a school of thought where teams are saying that when they play the Lakers, they can get anything that they want, basically. But I'm going to leave all of that to be discussed.
That's a scouting report.
The man himself, Mr. Lakers himself. Kems, give us your views, Kems, and what is happening with your team. What's happening with your team, Kems?
Good evening. Yes, I hear some feedback. I don't know who that. If only can mute, it'll kill me. Yes, I don't know who that. Yeah. So
Chris is out, so that might be the background noise.
Oh, okay. So that guy named CC Lab something. I met my commander come in a class, and I literally couldn't take the madness. I said, no, man, I have to jump out of class to come respond to him. So I see a lot of Lakers fans run and talk about Kobe and if Kobe had this team, he could have done something with it. Let us not forget that the last 6 Lakers season, they didn't make the playoffs with this same Kobe Bryant. Let us also not forget that Lakers have never, Kobe Bryant has never played at this level that LeBron James is playing in his 19th season. Go look it up, all you want to look it up. As a matter of fact, no player in the history of the NBA has played at this level in his 19th season. So So the expectations that Una have for LeBron, for prime LeBron, for come now as old LeBron and for drag this Lakers team for win the NBA, I think that is total rubbish. No, what I will say about the game last night, I give LeBron blame for it, especially down the stretch. He was absolutely terrible down the stretch on the offensive end, turning over the ball. And I see Gunner's boss come say, oh, Luka cooking LeBron. Like, I say Luka cook prime Kawhi. I see him cook prime Paul George. I see him cook Giannis. I see him cook all of those players. Like, this little narrative what we are trying to run with for make LeBron look bad, I think we need to stop it. I think if we, just for the integrity of the show, Pioneer, we want some take integrity on this show. Because CC Love and G Star and Chris sometimes and Preacher sometimes when they talk about Lakers, like them put on them like a bias. Someone wants some take integrity on the show. Now listen.
We're just trying to balance out your bias game. So you take about 5 of us to balance out your Laker bias, So
so really quickly, Preacher was saying that nobody wants to take Russell Westbrook contract. Totally disagree. First of all, the Lakers and Westbrook has agreed to find another home for him next season. So that's number one. Number two, Houston was really and truly ready and willing to take on Westbrook's contract. Also, it is a bad and it's an expiring contract. So a lot of teams right now, next season, a lot of teams will be willing to take the expiring contract and get whatever bad contracts they have off the books. Again, so I just think for the Lakers, this thing about trade away LeBron, like, come on now, let us not get ridiculous out here. And yes, Lakers is a big market and they will rise again. But let us not forget again that Lakers didn't come back to stardom until LeBron came in. Remember Nick Young, remember Nick Young was the star of the Lakers, and Lynn Sanity and them people they are playing ball for Lakers, Just remember that. So now LeBron bring back some relevance to the Lakers. So I think the man allowed to have some down season, especially he's getting old.
Yeah, can I just get a quick input?
All right, not a problem. Preacher, want to respond to something that you just said, Kems. Go ahead, Preacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple of things. One with the Russell Westbrook issue. It's about a trade is about what you can get from the trade. So if you're offloading Russell Westbrook simply because he's not good enough, he doesn't fit, and you get nothing in return that is of value, then you really and truly are in no better position than you were before the trade, right? You had nothing, you had something that wasn't good enough, and then you have nothing. What will the Houston Rockets be giving LA that will be of value?
And I can tell you, so this was the trade. Eric Gordon, John Wall, Chris Wood for Russell Westbrook and the 2027 first round pick. I think that would have been an excellent trade for the Lakers.
How is an old man in Eric Gordon who is supposed to be a grandfather by now?
I don't know if you watch Eric Gordon for the Rockets, but
he hasn't been playing much for the Rockets doing
he has been.
Not much. He has come off
all man squad beat LeBron now. Remember that,
But hold on, Kems. I'll stick up in Preach. I gotta make you finish, please. Kems, I can't see them people call this Lakers squad a geriatric squad. Mm-hmm. All right, so and Westbrook is aging, but I would say Eric Gordon is aged. So I don't know how you geriatric squad you want to add another old player.
To be fair to Kems, Eric Gordon couldn't have done worse than Ariza and this 10-day contract guy Johnson. He couldn't have done worse than.
No, but you just add what Kems is proposing, Christine. She's adding he's not getting rid of Ariza and bringing Eric Gordon. He's adding Eric Gordon to these guys. By the way, Eric Gordon and Ariza played at Houston together. Remember that?
Yeah.
He's adding Eric Gordon to this already. What we call a geriatric squad.
No, but look at this.
Hold on, stick up in Kems. Let Preacher finish what he was saying.
Thanks, Pioneer, because you're picking up on the point that I'm making. So you're gonna get Eric Gordon, who's aged. You're gonna get John Wall, who when was the last time John Wall touched a basketball or played any significant level of basketball? Nobody knows. So will John Wall even be playing this season when they get him? And who's the third person? Somebody probably who wouldn't.
Christian Wood, and if you don't know that guy, then we can't have a basketball conversation. Honestly,
No,
if
all
you
right,
don't know Christian
fine.
Wood, then we can't
All
have a
right.
basketball conversation.
You're gonna get Christian Wood, but the point I'm making is none of that would add any greater value to the current Lakers situation. All it
You are
would do,
crazy. You are
all it
crazy,
would
preacher.
do,
Preacher, you are crazy. If you tell me that, listen, if you tell me that a healthy Anthony Davis, a healthy LeBron, a healthy Christian Wood with
All
Eric
right.
Gordon who can knock down the tree at a 36% clip, if you tell me that that cannot be better than what Lakers happening now, you are crazy. Absolutely crazy.
well,
All right.
the last thing I'll say,
Yeah.
Pioneer, is this: a healthy AD and a healthy LeBron with Russell Westbrook playing bullshit would still be a good team. A big part of the problem is we have not had a healthy AD for long enough and a healthy LeBron for long enough together. And so it magnifies some of the other gaps in the Lakers team. They are a bad team. But if you had a healthy AD and a healthy LeBron, even with Russell Westbrook being at his worst, that would compensate a lot for some of the things that are happening in the Lakers.
There probably would be a 500 team right there.
Exactly.
All right. Let me say one last thing.
We don't want to go too far with the Lakers conversation. But maybe 1 cent.
No,
Go ahead.
that's one last thing, right?
Yeah, man.
One last thing. So Eric Gordon this season has been averaging 14 points and has been shooting 41% from 3
How many
points.
games have he played?
How many games have he played? He has played 50 games this season.
Really?
So no. Yes, really. So you tell me now, a man who is shooting 41% where LeBron can get him wide open, and I'm talking about the Lakers fully healthy, of course, with Christian Wood, who is a double-double machine, and the man can play basketball on his own, can create his own shot, plus LeBron and Anthony Davis. It's a massive, and whatever John Wall give you is brata, is bonus, right? Because now the team is where it's supposed to be. I think it's a massive improvement than just Russell Westbrook alone, because the turnovers will be down, the low confidence will be down, a lot of stuff will be down, and I think the Lakers will improve.
And let me just give my quick take on that. I think the CC suggestion, firstly, is a little far-fetched. I don't think the Lakers would resort to all of that. Even though with everything that is happening right now, because I don't know if you gentlemen kind of know, there are some, since yesterday, there are some developments. There was a tweet that was criticizing LeBron that Phil Hardy, the assistant coach, likes, so there's a whole heap of disruption going on in the Lakers back office right now. All right, so we might be seeing something like that. See, so with everything that is happening, there's an implosion, so anything is possible. However, to Kem's suggestion of the trade, when I look at everything that the Lakers gave up to get Russell Westbrook, that would be like I changed out my 250 cents to get $1, and then we're going to change out my $1 now to get back 3/4. So I don't think they would be getting value for money based on what they gave up to get Russell Westbrook. All right, so that is just my take. Boy, the Lakers struggles continue. So let's hope that with last night's game, I watched them. I was thinking that they made a comeback in the game. They were up 6 in the fourth quarter. Was hoping that they could have pulled it off, but typically like Lakers do, they fell apart going down the stretch.
They lose again, fakers. They always do that, Pioneer. Most of their games, they come back and look like they are about to do something. That's why they are the lose again, fakers.
All right, so welcome All Topics TV to the stream. All Topics TV saying Woods is a good player. Woods is a decent player, I would say. All right, but for me, as I said, that will be breaking up $1 for 3/4. Christian, I'm gonna start. Christian, I hope you don't copyright that, because I'm going to be using it, But I want to use fakers. I'll call them the LA Lakers. LA standing for lose again, Lakers.
Listen, Pioneer. If you and I notice you don't have it on the agenda, but I will bring it up.
No, man, I'm going there, man. Don't go in. I'm going there. Don't break me. I am hosting the show, my boss.
No.
I'm hosting the show. I'm hosting the show, Chris. I'm hosting the show, Kems. No,
I know, boss. No, I wasn't talking about that. No, I wasn't talking about that. I was saying that if you call Christian Wood a decent player.
Yeah.
I don't want you to tell me nothing about Wiseman, about Kuminga, about none of those players. Because Christian Wood is miles better than those players. Miles.
Really?
I mean, yes, really.
Right. The proof of the pudding will happen. But another team that is struggling, gentle folks, is the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors struggles continued last night.
Oh, come on, man.
They lost.
Oh, come on, Pioneer.
All right.
I know my team, but the struggling we are talking about and struggling struggling in context of what? The man them got
Struggling in
playoffs.
context of
It no matter which
where they
part the man
start.
them finish 1 to 6.
No, man, hold on, man. Struggling in the sense, struggling over recent thing, over the recent days,
Yeah,
recent
but
weeks.
Pioneer. It's not like Lakers who might not go to the playoffs. You know?
No, but hold on, don't preempt it, CC, man. Let's have a discussion, my brethren. So we're discussing the struggles of the Golden State Warriors in the last couple of games. They lost badly last night to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had lost the previous game to the Dallas Mavericks where they blew a 21-point lead. They were they were up 19 going into the fourth quarter and was beaten by about 6 by the Dallas Mavericks. They have lost 7 of their last 10 games. So I'd consider that struggling. CC. So to Kems Delight, we're gonna make him start out with this one. Now. Kems, give me your views of what is happening with the Golden State Warriors.
All right, listen. I see how you're trying to make the thing look good. Talk about the last 7 of their last 10 games. Absolutely not. You're not going to get away with that. They have lost 6 of their last 7 games. They have won 1 game in their last 7. Listen, they were leading by 19 going into the fourth quarter against the same Dallas Mavericks team that you just laugh off with the Lakers. And Dallas Mavericks went on a
Kems, hold on. Stick up in, Kems. Why do you have to always juxtapose everything that happens with the Warriors against what is happening with the Lakers, my brethren? If you do that, Kems, you're going to end up on the losing thing. One team is the worst. One team is second, well, I won't say second from the bottom, but one team is second from the bottom of making the play-in, and one team is the second best team in the NBA. I would advise you, Kems, when you're speaking of the Golden State Warriors, if you're gonna compare them to a team, don't compare them to the Lakers. It's not gonna come out favorable on your side, my brother.
No, but Pioneer, I wasn't comparing them to the Lakers. I was saying you were laughing at the Lakers for the loss against the Mavericks. And
no,
I'm
I
saying
wasn't.
you guys were leading.
I wasn't laughing. I wasn't laughing, my brother.
Okay.
I was
so
saying
you guys were
I hope
leading.
that they would have pulled off the win. So I wasn't laughing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you guys were leading by 19 points going into the fourth quarter, and Dallas Mavericks went on a 26-1 run. Now back to Mr. CC over there talking about what you mean by struggling and this. CC, you cannot play basketball black and white. And I saw it work. Oh, they're going to the playoffs, so they're good. Absolutely not. Form is important. Matchups is important. Who you match up in the first round and who you match up in the second round is absolutely important. You want to avoid the Phoenix Suns at all costs. And right now, where the trajectory where the Golden State Warriors is going, that might be a possible semifinals matchup. Along with, you don't want to match up with somebody bad in the first round as well, because right now the Golden State is not whole, and we don't know what's happening in Draymond Green and when he will come back. But I heard about the big bad Steph Curry. I know Steph Curry is this greatness and that greatness, but we see that when he is lacking weapons, that LeBron James is right now, we see that you will lose games. Minnesota Timberwolves, blow them out. Utah Jazz, blow them out. Dallas Mavericks, what them. So every good team that they're coming up against right now, and every quote-unquote playoff team that they're coming up against right now, is just whooping them left, right, and center. And Pioneer doesn't want to talk about the Golden State Warriors. That's why he's so focused on the Lakers and their struggles. And don't want to talk about. But I will be the take integrity on this show and ensure that we always have to highlight what's going on with the Warriors, because they're not playing good basketball right now at all.
All right, my boss.
The only thing I'll say to that is, it's Draymond Green is out, obviously. Klay Thompson is not back, obviously. That's a big part of the Warriors. So I wouldn't say it's a big, like Kem says, CC, it's a big part of who the Warriors match up with. Because Pioneer was on this show saying there's a couple teams that he thinks that can knock off the Warriors. So obviously that's he's worried about where they are heading. But I think they just want to get back Draymond Green fit. I think that's where Pioneer mind is. Trying to get back Draymond Green fit and hope that Clay is fit. And I think the Warriors should be good.
CC, I'm going to give you a chance to address what Kems just said and give me your own views on what do you think is happening with the Warriors.
Let me tell you, is as Kems said, yeah, right? But the thing is, because I think him go overboard with the whole LeBron take and me and stuff. I am just saying that the expectation that they have on LeBron at when them jump up and say year 19 and all these things is to blow up the thing. Year 19 he must score 29, 6 and 7. And when him lose, year 19 throw out of the way, Him hold him here. But when him a progress, here, look at him, greatest. But I just leave it right there where he is. LeBron to me and the second best player will touch the basketball. We are gonna leave it right there. So. However,
All right.
Golden State, as I said, Golden State is struggling. Because without Clay, without Draymond, without the heart and soul of the franchise, you're not necessarily going to get the best out of them. But I don't think you should be worried about it because if you really look at it, Pioneer, can any of these teams beat Golden State in a 4-game series?
In a 7-game series.
Yeah, sorry.
Beat them 4 out of 7 games.
So Golden State in sweep at look at team where, a certain player did that. But I'm saying, can any of these teams beat Golden State in a 7-game series in the playoff? Outside probably the Phoenix Suns. So that is precisely where it is. Unless
is that rhetorical? Is that rhetorical, CC, or can I answer?
Well, you can answer.
I believe the Memphis Grizzlies right now would absolutely annihilate the Golden State Warriors in a 7-game series. Right now, without Draymond Green, absolutely annihilate.
That's what I'm saying. If Memphis is healthy and Golden State is healthy, a 7-game series.
4-3 Memphis.
No, sir. I would necessarily. I think I would. I'm a big Jamaran fan, but I don't think Memphis would give them 4. I think it would be 4-2 Golden State with Golden State weapons, right?
Let me ask you a quick question.
All of this CC is coming, It's not going. Go on, Kems. Give me a second. Let me answer. Okay. All Topic TV here. How long now Pioneer is a Golden State fan? I've been following the Golden State Warriors since Steph Curry came in the league. I've been a Golden State fan since 2013. Saying I've been an ardent Golden State fan since Draymond Green came into the starting lineup in 2014. So I've been, as a matter of fact, I was one of the first persons who came on Jamaican radio, All Topic TV, and spoke.
They are fan when Golden State win.
Not while they were winning. I was a fan before they
started. They were winning them time. They were not talk about. They
were going to the playoffs.
Yeah, so they know that.
Yeah, man, they were going to the playoffs. So
why you never say you're a fan when they were Steven Jackson?
No, man, all right. I wouldn't say I was a Golden State fan. I like the team back in the day. As a matter of fact, I like the Golden State Warriors from the Run TMC days. I don't know if you remember all the way back though with Chris Mullen and
I'm gonna tell you, it
Tim Hardaway.
The whole fun thing, a man can like a team when him like a team. It's just like my team now we not take how much years. Right now, me have a player in my team that me don't like, but I don't want them win a title.
Which team is that?
You mean tell on my team already? I don't like the man where him slim in a 2D and him did fat in a one. What do you want come out of team him fat? All of a sudden, a slim man, we see a triple double and all these
Sixers.
Exactly. But guess what? We can't complain because I want my team got the final.
All right. But I've been a Golden State fan. As a matter of fact, I say I'm one of the first person who came on here and started talking about Steph Curry and expounding, on the whole virtues of Steph Curry. But with regards to the Golden State struggles, for me, the Golden State struggles ends when Draymond Green comes back. Klay Thompson has missed the last 2 games. Obviously, he's having some issues. But Golden State is not whole. A big part of what Golden State does though is Andre Iguodala. And I know Kems are going to make up him face when I say Iguodala. Because I can't think what Iguodala done. Him still exalt LeBron in his 19th year, but him say Iguodala done. All right, but Draymond Green and Iguodala coming back, and I can see there's a deliberate ploy to rest Andre Iguodala for the regular season. Golden State knows that they just need to make a good seeding in the playoff. Ideally, they would like to finish in the 2nd seed. They're not making a push for the 1 seed. They have shown that they can go into Phoenix and beat Phoenix. They did that Christmas Day. So I think they would love to be comfortable in the 2nd seed. As it stands now, they're under a little pressure. I think they're only 1 game above Memphis, who we'll be talking about in a little while. But realistically, Golden State should finish in the top 3. And I think that will comfortable. If they get everybody back healthy, they're going to definitely be a contender. The top 3 will be the top three for me contending for the West. I could see Dallas, based on how I see them playing in the last couple of weeks. Dallas could do some damage. Dallas playing around local, but what they have done in the last 2 months, I've liked how they have improved on their defending. If you look at Dallas now, I think they're ranked top 2 in defensive efficiency in the last 2 months. So that is a vast improvement, and that is a big shift. Dallas would be a team that would put up great offensive numbers, but would be deficient on the defensive end, and they have fixed that with their coaching staff. So I think it's Golden State, Phoenix, Grizzlies, and Dallas Mavericks for me contending for the Western title. All right, so we mentioned the Memphis Grizzlies, and we have seen the exploits of Ja Morant in the last couple of weeks. So a lot of people have him now as one of the MVP candidates. Kems, me give you the first go. Tell me what you think about Ja Morant and what you think about him as a possible MVP this season.
As a possible MVP, I definitely give him a shot at it. I think he's second right now. And I think he's right. Or even I'd say tied for first with Joel Embiid. A lot of persons talking about Jokic, but I can't give Jokic over Ja Morant. I can't give Jokic over Ja if Ja is above him in the standings. And I can't big up DeMar DeRozan because DeMar DeRozan can't beat the big teams. You know, as an MVP, you must be able to beat the big teams as well, and the Miamis of the world, and all those teams whopping Chicago Bulls left, right, and center. So I believe
in recent meetings, Chicago had beaten a couple of these teams early in the season.
Yeah, early in the season. But I think you get into the business then, as Kims is saying.
Absolutely. And you know, they don't really. If you look at how MVP voters have gone in, the starting of the season, you're making some noise, but this side, you know, you really sway the voters. And I think Ja Morant have a great case, especially Joel Embiid with James Harden right now. And James Harden is known as, you know, the quote unquote problem guy. And if Joel can continue rising up the standings, get up there to the number 1 seed or number 2, then I think, you know, it's between those two players. But man, like I was a big Ja Morant fan at Morris State. When he was at Morris State, I was a big Ja Morant fan, but I was more of a Zion guy than a Ja Morant guy. But what Ja Morant has been doing with the Memphis Grizzlies is unprecedented, and the man is just playing some really good basketball. I see there's a topic saying that hey, he's going to the basket too much. Remind of Derrick Rose, John Wall, and them, and his body might break down. But for right now, it's exciting to watch. And I really want him to go against the Golden State Warriors. I think that's going to be a great series.
All right. CC, tell me what you think about the man Ja Morant now.
No man, like I'm gonna tell you, see from day one, I think when they were drafted, I think Zion Williamson, if he's managed well, will be a phenomenal player. But I think Zion is like a shock. You see, the weight issue and the whole thing, I think Zion is more delicate in terms of you have to manage it. Because remember, Zion in his rookie year is averaging 23, second year 27, 60% field goal percentage and things. So I think Zion is a phenomenal player, given that, right? But I think Ja Morant, as enough persons would not probably highlight, Ja Morant may have been the diamond in the rough, per se, in terms of a player that you know he has potential, but the level of stardom, you ever heard in the NBA they talk about players that have the dog in them? I think if you look at Steph Curry, as great as Steph Curry is, you don't necessarily see Steph Curry with the dog or that killer mentality in him. That's why I think Kems is on the opposition side of saying that a Memphis can beat a Golden State because of Ja Morant's mentality, right? Ja Morant has that killer mentality in him where he's just going for you. So I think with all of what we're seeing with Memphis, it's all Ja Morant. The highest, they have 7 high scoring, and I think Jazz 5. So he's basically making a case for himself as being.
I mean, as a Memphis Grizzly.
as a Memphis Grizzly.
Yeah, he has. I think he
So
has 5 of
basically,
the
he's
top
a
7
Memphis
scores
Grizzly
as a
legend
Memphis
already,
Grizzlies. Mhm.
basically. And if he even get the MVP this year, I think maybe because Derrick Rose got it on the 29th day of his 6 month within his 22nd birthday, it might be a little bit older, but it will be round about the same time. What I would wish for Ja Morant is more healthy season to come, but I think we have never really seen this type of player within the modern game since we have seen like an AI, right? A Ja Morant to me is a player that you can think about. If he is in a final, you're thinking of him getting a one game. But because of the magnitude of the other teams that he might be facing, you don't necessarily have him as winning a title right now with his current.
How do you see the Memphis Grizzlies team on a whole, though
I think the
season?
Memphis Grizzlies team is a very good team, but I don't think they're a championship winning team at this point in time. And I think there's a lot to be a lot of to go into a small market team or based on the NBA structure in order for them to win a title. We have seen it with Portland. We have seen it with Portland with CJ and Dame, right?
Yeah.
As phenomenal as Dame Lillard is, and as good as CJ was, and they got Nurkic, they could not necessarily. I think they got swept in a conference final, and
By
then
the Golden State Warriors.
yeah. So that's the best that you think they could have gotten in terms of where they could have the ceiling is. So I
See,
think with a small market team, it's difficult for them to get to the final. Worst if they're in the West, based on the,
All
the,
right.
the magnitude of the
Kems wants to say something in response to what you just said, CC.
so CC, I don't mean to cut you, right? But I think the comparison that you're making with Portland and Memphis, I think it's two completely different teams because while Dame and CJ were good, I don't think they were necessarily good together. One because none of the two can play exceptional defense, and then the big men that they have, the Nurkic of the world, and so those are not world beaters. I think this Memphis Grizzlies team, especially when they get what's his name? I don't know if Dylan. Yeah, when they get back Dylan Brooks, this is going to be a very, very, very scary team because that man can lock down the best player on the other team. I don't think Portland had that. They never had a player who they say, okay, go and lock down a Steph Curry, go and lock down a Klay Thompson for me. Dylan Brooks can do that, and then Jackson of the world, the Baines of the world. I just think, and then with Ja Morant, and I think the way how Ja Morant play and his attitude and his style and his youth, I think the whole team just go around that and they just use it, and I think they have great chemistry. I think they have great unity, and trust me, I think it's like a Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL. Nobody expected Cincinnati to go to the final, to the Super Bowl, but they did.
I've heard people like a Max Kellerman compare Ja Morant to what's the quarterback's name?
There's two
Joe Burrow.
players.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, there's two
He
players.
did?
Yeah, man. He
There's
said,
two players that I
give me a
would
second,
want.
CC. Give me a second, CC. He actually said the attitude of Joe Burrow is similar to that of Ja Morant, or
Absolutely.
vice versa, that of Ja
I
Morant
agree.
too. Because he's saying that people are saying that their time is not yet, and they are proving that their time is now. Go ahead, CC. You're about to say something.
Yeah, I was saying to you that there's two players that I would want to see Ja Morant with. And I think if Ja Morant has those two players, it is the next big three, and they would make the final. But I don't know if those
who are the
three
two
players can end up on one team. See,
Who?
Anthony, what's his name? Anthony Edwards. That's what his name.
Yeah,
Carl
man,
Anthony Towns and Ja Morant.
Oh, so you basically would want to see Ja Morant in the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I'm not saying he needs all of those players, no, but I think
Yeah.
Ja Morant, Edwards, and Carl Anthony Towns is like a finalist team, a championship level team with good enough pieces around them.
My views on the Memphis Grizzlies team. It's a really good team. It's a really, really good team. Ja Morant has missed probably 10 games this season, and the team without Ja Morant won 7 of those 10 games. That speaks to a good team, and I think they had 2 marquee wins over teams that were in the top 4 at the time. I can't remember the exact dynamics and which teams they were, but 2 of those games they played with Dylan Brooks. So after 10 games, they played 2 with Dylan Brooks. So they had 8 games and won 6 out of the 8 games without Dylan Brooks and Ja Morant. That speaks to, and the leader of the team in those games was actually Jaren Jackson Jr. So they have a very good team. They have a rounded team. the only thing that people are using to discount this team is their youth and their inexperience. Now, I said this to somebody on a radio show on Friday. I think these youths in the NBA now are fearless. They are not respectful of any big name players. They are thinking that their time is now. Their talents are proving to be as good as or even better than these big name marquee players. And you two gentlemen said it. I like the attitude that with which Ja Morant plays. He plays as if it's my time now. This is my show, and I would not, even though I have the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns making the Western Conference Final, it would not surprise me if the Memphis Grizzlies were to knock off one of these two big teams. I'm not picking them to go to the final, to the Western Conference Final, but I'm saying that I would not be surprised if the Memphis Grizzlies were to make the Western Conference Final. And I'm seeing All Topic TV saying he would love to see Ja Morant in the Western Final, but it's gonna be difficult. I agree with you, All Topic TV, but I would not be surprised if they were to make it. A lot will depend on whether Dylan Brooks come back, whether he's healthy, as Kems made mention of. He's a lockdown defender, and there's a lot that he can do in furthering his team's chances in making the Western Conference Final. I could actually see this team in the NBA Finals. We're gonna move on, gentlemen. Another team that continues to struggle is the Brooklyn Nets. Even though they are struggling, the Vegas has the Brooklyn Nets still as the favorites to win the NBA. Kems, give me your synopsis on what is happening with the Brooklyn Nets. How far you see them going, my brethren? What are their prospects coming out of the East and for the rest of the season? And we're going to put it as a healthy Kevin Durant. We don't know what is happening with the COVID mandate yet. So let's say a 50% Kyrie Irving being able to play in only road games. A healthy Kevin Durant comes back. We get back Ben Simmons mid-March. How do you see the fortunes of for the rest of the seasons and for the rest of the season in the playoff, regular season and playoff?
I think the Nets will be in the play-in. You know, I think they'll be in the play-in, but they have to try and get. I think they're 8th right now, so they have to try and get that 7th and 8th. I think they have 2 big games coming up: one against Boston, one against the Heat. I don't know if KD is going to be back for those, but those are 2 big games because I think there's a team at 9th that's right on their tail, ready to pass them. So you know they want to get one of those places because if you get one of those places, then you can be 7th or 8th. If you finish 9th or 10th, you can only be 8th. Right?
You're gonna have to play 2 games to get into the playoffs.
Exactly.
To begin.
Exactly. So with that being said, I'm thinking the Brooklyn Nets. Let me give them the benefit of the doubt. They're 8th. I'm thinking if they play Philly, they lose. If they play Milwaukee, they lose. If they play the Heat, they lose. So I'm looking at it as a first round knockout. I'm looking at it as they're going to dare Ben Simmons to shoot. Kyrie can only play
You're saying this, Kems, even with a healthy Kevin Durant, even with Kyrie, and let's say the mandate is lifted and Kyrie is able to play home games. As a matter of fact, if they finish 8, they're going to be playing more road games than home games. So Kyrie will have the advantage of playing.
Yeah, but the thing is, you still need to win. The thing is, Pioneer, you still need to win one.
No, hold on, Kems. They'll start on the road now. Remember, if they finish as the 8th seed, and they're going to be playing the 1 seed. So let's say this is a Miami Heat team. Make we say Miami for argument's sake. So they're going to play their first 2 games in Miami. So we're going to have a healthy Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving playing the first 2 games, and whatever version of Ben Simmons we get, along with the supporting cast. Give me your, you know.
I'm giving Miami Heat a 4-2. So Miami Heat would win 4-2. I think Philly would win 4-1, and I think Milwaukee would sweep them. That's my honesty.
Milwaukee would sweep Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and Kyrie.
Absolutely. Because guess what? Again, I'm telling you, in the playoffs, as you know, Pioneer very well, the game slows down. So all of these wide open shots, you see man a shoot and all of that. Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant will be great. But Kevin Durant alone,
I
as
want
we
to
see,
remind you about something in the camps. I remind that you just said Milwaukee would sweep them. This same
absolutely.
Brooklyn team, minus minus James Harden, because he was a shell of himself last
Minus
season.
Kyrie too.
But and minus Kyrie after the first 2 games where he got injured in game 3.
Yeah.
He got injured in game 3.
Yep.
So stick up in right there. Are you saying that? And with the addition of a Drummond and a Seth Curry and a Patty Mills, and with the addition of a Ben Simmons, you're saying that the Bucks would sweep this Brooklyn team. Tell me if
Absolutely,
that's what you said.
because guess why? Remember, said the Bucks also signed Serge Ibaka. Remember, said the Bucks also getting back Brook Lopez. Remember, say there have been a greater emergence of Bobby Portis this season, right? And they have also gotten some better shooters than they had last year. So I'm just looking at it
Okay.
so I'm looking at it and I'm
By the way,
saying,
the Bucks are gonna be without Patrick Connaughton, who was big for
yeah.
them last year.
Yeah, I think, I think he
Okay.
picked up an injury.
Don't
But you know,
forget that.
yeah, but I'm just saying. Remember, last year the Bucks was trying to find out how to win. Now the Bucks know how to win. So I think that also plays a role into it. And I think there's just too much matching pieces to do with the net. Okay, how does Seth Curry fit? Okay, how do Ben Simmons fit? Okay, we have to also be fragile with Ben Simmons. We can't shout too much. We can't show too much frustration because he's going to shut down, getting his feelings. Okay, Kyrie can't play home games. All right, so we have to try and maximize on the road. I think there's just too much fitting pieces, and I think all these teams have their chemistry going, have their longevity apart from obviously Philly, but I think Harden and Embiid them be playing well. So it does look like Brooklyn does have a mountain to climb, and I think Brooklyn should just shut it down and just miss the playoffs and just say, you know what, let's just shut it down and then come back next. I think next season is Brooklyn season, but not
All right,
this
my
season
boys.
at all.
I heard your views, James. One big up Gavin Lindo, who is shouting out Brooklyn in the house. All right, big up Gavin Lindo. CC, give me your views. I think there might be a little different from Kems. Give me your views on what on the fortune of Brooklyn.
I think with Brooklyn situation, as Kim just said, there's a lot of moving parts, but with Brooklyn though, in terms of the mandate that they have on Kyrie, I think it is unfair because away players can come into the arena unvaccinated and play. So to me, it's not even about Kyrie not being vaccinated. It's about other things. Anyway, if given the mandate and stuff, I don't know if Brooklyn has the firepower to take them to the title because we see Kevin Durant last season play out his heart. The one thing I said that though, the injury that Kevin Durant had and the fact that he hadn't played some games leading up to the playoffs might be a blessing in disguise. And the fact that Kyrie has not been playing every game also might be a blessing in disguise.
You're saying they're gonna be fresh and rested.
That's what I said. If the mandate is lifted in time for the playoff, I think you will have a fresh Kyrie and a fresh KD, and I think they might make the conference final. And it's anybody's ball game when you're in the conference final based on who they faces. Because I think the East is stacked in terms of the teams going up against. The Chicago Bulls is a very good team. The Heat is a very good team. The Bucks is a very good team. Philly is a very good team. So there will be no rest game in terms of the East playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think that Kevin Durant, with the aid of Kyrie Irving, can get it to a conference final. When you get to a conference final, it's what you do in the conference final, right? Because I've seen other players back in the past. I've seen players who got to several conference finals. They never really made the final. But as I said though, level of Kevin Durant. Remember, it's a tour. It's just that Kevin Durant's foot was too big. made them miss the final.
Yeah, he missed the playoff by a 2 last year.
Missed the final by a toe.
Yeah. Don't say the playoff. He missed the finals by a 2 last year.
And I think the level of greatness that I see from Kevin Durant coming back from an Achilles injury, which is not something that they should be coming back from, but I think you can give him the benefit of the doubt. Like we would have given LeBron the benefit of the doubt of making the playoffs, right? Because to me, anybody else in that situation that LeBron is in, people don't write them off. They're not making the playoffs, but because it is LeBron James, he's going to make the playoffs. So I think you can give Brooklyn the benefit of the doubt. But I think Philly will go to the finals, right? I have Philly going into the NBA finals. But
Okay.
I think I have Philly in the conference finals against Brooklyn Nets.
So
I
yeah,
don't see
Philly
where
and
Nets
Brooklyn in the conference final.
yeah. I
So
don't see
Miami, the Bucks and Chicago won't make the conference final for you, CC.
no.
All right,
Because
Virgin.
they are.
That is a bold prediction. We have Chris Lynch back with us. And we also I want to acknowledge what All Topics TV said. He says he looked at the injury listing for the
Oh
Nets,
yeah. I saw the
and
report. I
he
think
has
they're
not
saying that
seen
he
Kevin
might come
Durant.
back.
I saw KD in a couple of warm-up sessions in games in the last 2 games where he was in a shoot around. So there's a possibility that he could be coming
Should
back.
play tomorrow. Should play
Should be
tomorrow
coming back
based
for the
on the
next
last
game.
report.
So
Yeah.
for me, any team that has Kevin Durant in it is a team that is dangerous and can knock off anybody. When I look at Brooklyn, what they did last year, when I look at the team this year, how they are made up, if Ben Simmons gives them 80% of what he had in Philly, Kyrie has shown that he's still Kyrie Irving in the games that he have played this season. The shooters around those three, Patty Mills, Seth Curry, Dragic, they still have Blake Griffin, they still have LaMarcus Aldridge, they have gotten Andre Drummond, so they are 3 deep at the center position. Bodies to throw at a Giannis, bodies to throw at a Joel Embiid. I think this team will make it to the NBA Finals. I have Brooklyn and Golden State or Phoenix in the NBA Finals. All right, I hear all the rave about Philly and what they have done. They have looked good since James Harden has joined them, but I am still going with a team that has Kevin Durant. KD single-handedly last year almost brought Brooklyn to the finals. So with some support this year, I can't see him not making the finals. So let's see how that unfolds, gentlemen. Chris Lynch, give me your views, because we'll wrap up short. Give me your views.
I already told you that, if Kyrie Irving can play 4 games, that's too much for any team in the NBA. If he can play 3 games, that's too much for any team in the NBA, because I suspect that if Kyrie Irving can play 3 games, then 1 more game, I think Kevin Durant can win that by himself. I just think that 3 games are too much with Kevin Durant and a healthy Kyrie Irving. Then I have the Nets. The West is even though the East, you say Pioneer is the blood sport, the West, I don't like the West. I don't really see a standout favorite that I like it. And to be honest, I am waiting, because I really like Memphis and Dallas, especially since Dallas had Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
I am really going to watch before I call the West, to be honest with you, Pioneer. I am not sure about the West. I just think the West that anybody can just come out and surprise us. So, but for the East, I just think it's between 3 teams. It's going to be very hard to beat the Bucks. Even though I said that the Nets can make it to the final, it's going to be very difficult to beat the Bucks. And as you see,
They said 3
James
teams.
Harden.
That's the Bucks, the
By
Nets,
the way, I have
and
something to say. I think I was just looking at something and I was saying, really MVP though. And I want
stick up in. Just stick up in. See, we get to that. Yeah. I'll allow you. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so like I'm saying that, yeah, man, the East is the big 3. Those are the big 3 teams. No other team outside of those teams.
You're not seeing Miami, you're not seeing Chicago.
Yeah, man. Seeing Miami with the experience, Kyle Lowry and Bam playing good, and come on,
PJ
Pioneer.
Tucker and Tyler Hero.
Because it's going to be very difficult to beat these 3 teams because of the superstars that they have. And that's what they have more than everybody else. The superstars can turn up on the nights when they are really needed. And that's going to make the difference for me. It's not that the other teams are not in contention, or won't play a good game against them. But Kevin Durant more than likely overcome those type of teams. And Giannis the same thing.
All right. All Topic TV is asking me, do I think Celtics can reach the conference final? All Topic TV have been on record saying that the East is a blood sport. You just heard Chris Lynch mention a big three. I have it as a big five. I include Miami, the Miami Heat's in that, and I also include Chicago. We can't discount Chicago. Chicago has been playing good basketball. They're expecting to bring back Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, which will help them on the defensive end and on the offensive end. So Chicago with Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, they recently added Tristan Palmer for sure up there. Center position.
Tristan
Thompson to shore up their center position. You cannot discount them. You cannot count them out. The Celtics, I have stated on record that I think they are lacking in chemistry. They have been playing really well. They are on a tier right now. I think they are now fifth in the East. But I am not. I don't.
Jaylen Brown went down as well.
Jaylen Brown, that was last night.
Yeah, he got injured.
I didn't see that, but I cannot include them in the big five. They could surprise me. They have been together for a while. They have some chemistry issues for me. I don't think Jaylen Brown and Tatum plays well together. They are playing well now as a team, but I don't see them cracking that big five. Gavin Linder is saying Steve Nash, the Warriors, and health are the only obstacles that can stop the big bad Nets. All right, Gavin Linder, let's see how the whole thing unfolds. CC, you're about to say something regarding the MVP race.
When I said the MVP thing, said come to think of it, depends on where Chicago Bulls finish. Who has played the most games from the season started?
In terms of a team or as a player?
Person.
DeRozan, I think if everybody in the MVP race right now, DeRozan has missed the least games.
He has played 58 games. How many games have gone in the season?
I think his team probably have played about 60 games. So he has probably missed 2 games for the entire season.
I think Joel Embiid has played 48 games.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you're in a situation where I think based on where the season finishes, DeMar DeRozan, I would give him. You'd have to look at his statistics and his impact on his team and where they finish at the end of the season. So I think he's right up there in the voting based on where his team might finish.
I agree with you.
His ability is availability. And he's out there every day, every night for his team. To not reward the player, because Ja Morant, that's what I was saying, Ja Morant is played exceptionally well. But he has played 49 games. So when you realize the assets at the end of the season.
You see there's a school of thought that says MVP means most valuable player to their team. And if you take that into consideration, then you can't exclude DeMar DeRozan from the MVP conversation. You pointed out CC of all the contenders for the MVP. I think Jokic and him probably play a similar amount of games. Some people have Jokic again in the MVP conversation. But I think right now as it stands as it stands right now, I think the top 3 contenders are Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, and DeMar DeRozan. And of those 3, DeMar DeRozan has played the most games. In terms of value to his team, based on the amount of games that he has played. As I said earlier, we have seen the Grizziles in 10 games without Ja Morant, and they still kept it together. But in terms of as a contributor to his team, I think DeMar DeRozan's contribution has been invaluable to the Chicago Bulls. He went on a tear when he went 8 games with 35 points straight.
Yeah.
So
if DeMar hasn't played so many games, he would be scoring leader because it's like 28-5 and 5, I think. So
still
has
a chance to come out on top of the score.
The reason why Embiid edges at the moment is one, obvious Embiid is a force. He's an MVP in 2 categories. They could probably try to get him defensive player because of the good defense he plays as well. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big reason. And then all of the saga that's going on in Philly. I don't think had that been LeBron James instead of Joel Embiid, everyone would be talking about how he held down a team and brought this team with all of what Ben Simmons went through. So I think that is a big part of why the 2 big reasons is that Embiid played good defense, and the saga that's happened in Philly with Ben Simmons, I think you must take those two things must come into consideration. That who's the other star that was doing it with him?
I was doing it single-handedly, basically.
He was just getting it. He was just getting it everywhere.
You
It's
see the
not
thing
no.
though,
Everywhere.
he has missed, as
really
CC has pointed it. He missed a significant amount of games. So if, as I say, if we're talking about MVP as a value to your team, of course, Embiid is very valuable to the Philadelphia 76ers. But considering that DeMar DeRozan has played more games for his team, his team has a better record as it stands right now than Philly. So I mean, so it kind of
I think he's going to get a lot of votes though. DeRozan, yeah, man. Based on
the irony about this whole MVP conversation, when the season started and Steph Curry was on a tier, everybody says Steph Curry, the MVP hands down. Then KD was doing his thing for a part of the season, and all eyes were on KD. Then LeBron James came on strong, and people were bringing in LeBron in the discussion. And now we're talking about three different persons entirely at this stage of the season.
Pioneer.
And with 20 games left, who knows? The picture could change again. So
the DeRozan situation reminds me of when Chris Paul went to Phoenix, and this is why I think they're not going to vote him the MVP. Everyone was touting Chris Paul for the MVP that year when the Phoenix was doing well in and how well he went there and they were doing good. DeRozan is the same thing to the Bulls.
No, I think the difference though, Chris, is that DeRozan has the numbers. No, and he has the numbers. Chris Paul was averaging about 18 and
any regular,
his regular numbers. But DeRozan's numbers has escalated. He has numbers that are comparable to anybody else right now in terms of points. So I think that will argue better for him than a Chris Paul last year. So let's see how the MVP voting goes. Gentlemen, we're going to wrap up another this episode. It was good to have you. One, big up everybody who has been in the stream. Big up Gavin Lindo. One, big up Gunners Boss. All Topic TV, welcome forward. Everybody else who was on the stream, Countryman, big up yourself. I want to thank the gentlemen for coming on. CC, give thanks, my brethren, for your presence. All right, and we look forward to having you. I want to say big thanks to Chris Lynch. I want to big up Preacher who was on. And of course, the inevitable, the man who we can't imitate. Kems, Kems, we have a big up, my brethren. It's always great to have you on. And Jenko folks, we give thanks. And we'll be doing this again on Saturday, somewhere around 1 or 2 p.m. Remember, if you like what we're doing here, people, we ask you, like the video, please, because that is how we increase the algorithms on YouTube and we get new viewers. And share the video. If you like the content, if you like the discussions, if you like what we're doing here, share the video with someone and tell them to come and join us here on I Am Sure Sports. And be sure to subscribe. Help us to grow. I Am Sure is the YouTube channel, local Jamaican YouTube channel that provides the best sporting content, barring none. We have a wide-ranging content where sports is concerned, and we have new programs coming on stream. So be sure to subscribe to this channel and help us to grow, as I said before, people. For around the NBA and for I Am Sure Sports, my name is Pioneer, and we'll see you again soon.